EWS,
the Overnight Underground Podcast. Here's the headlines. Trump is on drugs.
I'm on drugs!
Pelosi calls Trump a fattie. Invading Canadians taunt Biden.
Why don't you go back to Canada, you bastard?
The government is gearing up for civil unrest. Trial by Zoom, and the Germans are revolting. These stories and more coming up on today's Overnight Underground News. I'm John Ford. Though not insightful or beneficial for any of the world's current troubles, we do have some mildly entertaining political drama going on today. First, President Trump told reporters during yesterday's press conference that he had been taking the controversial drug hydroxychloroquine as a prophylactic against COVID-19. The press corps was aghast as Trump himself announced to the nation his use of the drug he believes will help ward off the virus.
You'd be surprised at how many people are taking it, especially the frontline workers, before you catch it. I happen to be taking it. I'm taking it, hydroxychloroquine.
When?
Right now, yeah. A couple of weeks ago, I started taking it.
Trump's opponents quickly jumped on the news with warning that the drug's use could cause serious heart trouble and other complications. Honestly, I don't know why this is a problem for certain rabid sects of the Democratic Party. Seems to me they've been calling for Trump's death since he entered office. Nancy Pelosi jumped on the news and on the president's use of hydroxychloroquine on Monday's Anderson Cooper segment on CNN. The Speaker of the House used her airtime on the cable network to essentially call Trump a fat bastard.
He's our president, and I would rather he not be taking something that has not been approved by the scientists, especially in his age group and in his, shall we say, weight group, what is morbidly obese, they say.
The press corps is currently salivating like Pavlov's dog in anticipation of the presidential shitstorm that is sure to follow. Still, fans of the president know he's not obese. He's just got big bone spurs. President Trump also threatened to completely defund the World Health Organization in an overnight tweet. Trump warned that he was considering dumping the WHO funding within 30 days if it does not, quote, commit to major substantive improvements. The pudgy orange one continues to accuse the WHO of being too soft on China.
Is it supposed to be this soft?
It was hard to get it aroused, and it is hard to get it aroused, but we got it aroused.
Let's see, what else we got here in the circus that is American politics. On Monday, Joe Biden moved out of his basement for his latest virtual town hall digital disaster. He decided to let the sunshine and fresh air in from his vestibule as he chatted with the American public. The only problem was, invading Canadians were very vocal with Biden's streaming appearance.
You know, the people who weren't necessarily prejudiced but just didn't focus. That's the geese you hear in the background. There's a little pond out here. And those Canadian geese are trying to get away from the virus. Anyway.
Man, old touchy-feely Uncle Joe, he just can't catch a break.
Who's your daddy?
It seems the U.S. government has been preparing for domestic war. The Intercept is reporting that Uncle Sam has been busy ratcheting up security and spending to counter possible civil unrest during the coronavirus pandemic. The purchases include contracts for riot gear such as disposable handcuffs, gas masks, ballistic helmets, and riot gloves, along with protective equipment for federal police. Sounds reasonable to me. Nothing to see here.
Hold on.
Speaking of unrest, it seems the Germans are revolting.
You said it. They stink on ice.
The Daily Mail is reporting that Teutonic fury is being unleashed in Germany over lockdowns in that country. Thousands of protesters rallied in Stuttgart, Munich, and Berlin to protest against Merkel and what some conspiracy theorists see as a plot by Bill Gates to vaccinate the masses. You know, you just can't make this shit up. German police arrested protesters outside the Reichstag in Berlin. Just please don't start any fires. We all know how that turned out last time.
You dopes in Deutschland! My mama done told me. Stay heim!
This story should work out well.
Not!
In Texas, they're getting ready for their first Zoom trial. Reuters reports a Texas court is getting set to let jurors hear a case remotely using Zoom. The Collin County District Court on Monday picked a jury to hear the insurance dispute case by video conference. The one-day trial is a summary jury trial where jurors hear a condensed version of the case and deliver a non-binding verdict. The jury selection was live-streamed over YouTube. Gee, what could possibly go wrong?
Houston, we have a problem.
Bloomberg News is reporting that China may be getting ready to lock down cities in the northeast of the country again. 100 million Chinese are facing lockdowns for a second time as a new and expanding cluster of coronavirus infections are again plaguing the region. Cities in the Jilin province have stopped train and bus service, shut schools, and quarantined tens of thousands of people. Needless to say, the Chinese living in these areas are not happy.
Hello, are you happy people?
There's been quite a spike in the moronic behavior index over the last few days. In Volusia County, Florida, the sheriff's office had to break up a block party that numbered in the thousands. WFTV News reports police noted there were multiple arrests, and numerous deputies were injured in altercations attempting to break up the melee.
I want to party with you, cowboy.
I say, why not hide your identity with a watermelon? That was the cunning plan hatched by two thieves in Charlottesville, Virginia. The Smoking Gun notes that two lads decided wearing hollowed-out watermelon rinds on their heads was the perfect disguise for stealing alcohol from a Virginia convenience store. Guys, you got it bass-ackwards. You put the booze in the watermelon, not on your noggin, you numbskulls.
I've come to stick my head in a bucket of something nasty.
In England, all this lockdown was too much for one man in Devon. The Sun reports that when the cops entered the man's flat to bust him on drug charges, the unlucky lad scrambled to the roof of his apartment completely nude, clutching his baggie of cannabis. At least he wasn't clutching something else. The police were able to convince the man to later give himself up after they sealed off all his escape routes from the roof. You know, naked and in a fetal position, rocking back and forth on your roof, surrounded by police, and cradling a bag of weed may not be the best way to go through life, son.
You gotta stand butt naked, high noon, without the sunglasses on, in the mirror, and face the truth.
You can't handle the truth!
N-E-W-S.
A mostly correct and occasionally incomplete transcript and links to reference sources and articles of this Overnight Underground can be found at overnightunderground.com.